No, it was actually turned off, that's why. Okay, this is the Thursday, March 14th, 2024 Town of Monroe Planning Board Workshop Meeting. Noreen, would you please do roll call?
Bonnie Franson,
Here?
Jeff Manson,
Here.
Pat Shea,
Here.
Nick Napoli is out, Dylan Penn is out, Lou Rivera,
Here.
Robert Garstock. They will be filling in for, I'm sorry, go ahead, Bob.
Here.
They will be filling in for Nick and Dylan.
That's Lou and Bob.
Yes.
Okay. With that, I'll point out the fire exits. There are two in front of me, one to the side, which is a main entry, and then another out here to the patio. With that, let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right. First item on the agenda is 355 Route 17M. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Mike Morgante for the applicant. So since the last time we were here, we had made some additional changes to the plans. We've got an actual second sheet now that's showing a proposed site plan, showing some topography on the site, showing potential parking locations. It's got a parking calculation that includes office and in this case, a medical office in a sense. So we've tabulated all that, provided that for the board's review. We've located the well for this particular site. We did locate the sewer location as well, just there wasn't enough time to place it on the plans for the submission. The sewer location is actually, if you're on 17M looking at the site, it's in the front right-hand corner of the building. It comes out and turns towards 17M. We can't really cut the pavement up to exactly trace where it goes, but we did confirm through the crawl space in the building where the sewer is. So it's visible right at the front right corner of the building. There's a little knockout there. You just pull it out. You can see the sewer line. So, I mean, and we showed a dumpster location as well and some landscaping. I think those are like the major comments that we had from the previous session we were at. We did receive additional comments that we can review tonight with the board, and we'll continue to field any questions that the board and or the consultants might have.
All right, so with that, Sean, do you want to go through your comments?
Close, I guess. So I had a couple comments with regards to the parking layout. The relatively minor, I'd say. If you recall, there's the upper parking lot in the back. Mike now shows that to be striped right there. Yep. Parking that's called out does appear to meet the zoning requirements, but a couple of the spots I just had questions on. So right where you pull into that back part, there's a spot proposed to be striped that, I don't know if it impedes ingress and egress into that back spot.
Are you talking about the spot that's existing
Right
right
there,
there?
yep.
Yeah, so that's actually 24-foot wide aisle still with that parking space in that location. I can label that dimension on the plans. Same thing with, I think the parking space along 17M, that's actually 27 feet. But I can certainly add those notations to the plans to make sure that we understand there's adequate room there for egress and ingress.
Sure. So as Mike alluded to, that other single spot to the left on the page, worried about somebody pulling in, it's kind of an awkward spot within the curb.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I would note that there were two spots that are located previously. We did pull, per our last conversation with the board, any parking spaces that were encroaching into the 17M right-of-way have been removed. I did notice one of your other comments. I think accidentally on the cover sheet, it's still showing the existing conditions plan as opposed to the proposed site plan, if that's what I think that comment's referring to. But we have removed all the parking spaces from the DOT right-of-way, so we are within the property boundary. I'm not sure if we can meet parking within the front yard setback because that's a 60-foot setback. So we wouldn't have any parking on the site at that point. Yeah, I'm not sure if that was a reference to the DOT right-of-way or we can't have parking in the front yard setback.
That's a code requirement that there can't be parking, but if this was existing, you could
Pre-existing.
get the building inspector to weigh in and confirm whether it's a pre-existing non-conforming condition.
So we had no disagreement with removing the parking spaces from the DOT right-of-way. That's appropriate, which we did. I think we still have adequate parking. If we have to have the building inspector weigh in as it relates to the front yard portion of it, that's fine.
Sorry, just
Yeah, so I think to Sean's comment, this space here, as you said, it seems to be kind of hanging out there. So I don't know, is it partly that, can this be brought so that it just, is this a retaining wall in here?
It is.
Okay, so to put something over here,
or even just
yeah, striping or something, it just looks odd, like it's not aligned.
We can do the striping. I think that's makes the most sense.
Yeah. Is this pavement in here already? There's no landscaping?
There's
Okay.
no landscaping in that area. Well, no, that retaining wall is right up against that actual parking space right at the corner there.
So, with regards to the actual title of the plan sheet, it says amended site plan and lot consolidation. Last time, I think you had mentioned you were going to do the consolidation through the assessor's office.
That's our intention.
Yeah, I didn't know if, whether or not maybe the lot consolidation should be dropped from the title.
We can do that. So
Does the lot consolidation have to happen before the approval? Does that have to happen?
That has to be satisfied before the plans are signed, so the consolidation would happen. Sorry. So it would be a condition of signing the plans, so that would, the consolidation would happen before the plans are signed, and then the plans would reflect that consolidation.
agreed.
Comment 4 was, Mike went over earlier. Next one was about handicap parking stalls. There was limited topography information near the handicap parking stalls. There's a 2% maximum requirement area. So, I'd like to confirm.
Yeah, we did confirm the walkway itself. The walkway is about a 50-foot run, and it's about 35 inches. So we meet 1 on 12 easily there. We're actually more like 6%.
So how do they get up to a door, just in general, if that's accessible?
So if you see that little rectangular square in front of the hatched loading area you're right on it, yep. That's the loading unloading area. That's their little platform that they actually get onto for the sidewalk. They ramp up to the corner. There's another little platform right there. They turn and they ramp up to the front door.
The front door's over here,
Correct.
and, okay. Should probably show where the front door, or the doors are in general,
Yeah,
just
and-
to help us.
Yep, and that length is 50 feet. The change in elevation is about call it 36, but it's 35 inches. That's what was measured.
Is there a railing or something that's required for that? Is there railing there now?
There's railing there.
Okay,
Greater than 1 on railing,
okay,
1 on 20 and 1 on.
okay. And this is the adequate size and platform for this?
I think it's a 5-foot width. I can dimension that also.
Yeah, if you could dimension this, only because this space looks so big relative to this. I don't know why it's looking small or narrow, but it could just be, like, it could just be that this is overly sized, the symbol itself. But if you would just check those dimensions, please.
Will do.
Thank you.
Next one was about the mason dumpster enclosure. Recommend that that's mason. So there's limited landscaping that's proposed. I wondered if Karen should review it or if the board feels comfortable reviewing the landscaping.
So what were your thoughts on landscaping?
I tried to choose shrubbery that would kind of grow into like a hedge kind of situation that would screen the parking. I pulled some of these from one of Karen's other plans that she's prepared for me, so I can tell you that much. But that was the idea here. We have a retaining wall. I can't really do anything more than like shrubs, otherwise we can compromise the wall. But the idea would be that they are shrubs that, planted and spaced appropriately and given a little bit of time to grow, probably get to a 4 or 5 foot height if they're maintained. And the idea would be really to just try to screen the parking lot.
What is happening right in here? Are you not putting it here because it's DOT right away?
Correct.
Is this going to be lawn area, though? I mean, in as much as it's DOT, you're going to end up maintaining
I
it.
think it's mulched right now, if I'm not mistaken, but there's no plantings. We're not doing anything there. It's in the DOT right of way.
Why don't we, remind me, we'll ask about the landscape plan if we want to run it by Karen, see if she has any ideas. She's very creative that way, so. Were there more comments?
Yeah, just architectural provided. I'll say the detail or the descriptions were, and one thing was noted, siding, but it looked like they were just going to be painting the existing facade, so just trying to clarify that.
I think that's a typographical error. I think they probably intended to say the side of the building is intended to be that color. There's no siding that's proposed.
It's
I actually
proposed to
looked
be
that color
painted.
up before we came here, and it's a Benjamin Moore paint. So their intention is to, I believe, paint the facade of the building.
Just paint it.
Just paint it, correct?
All right, so if you could just call out the type,
Yep.
whatever color paint it is. And then the architectural plans should be signed and sealed by a design professional. And then procedurally, I think the board previously did from 239 referral, and the board typed it at type 2.
Yeah, that's because it's yes.
So some of them are asphalted, but if you look the opposite direction, right where your arrow's pointing, I think one of them's got mulch in it. I'm not sure. Yeah, that pole down there, that's all mulched.
It looks like they had some kind of low-scale planting. Now, are these still up here, these shrubs?
Not currently, no.
They were removed?
I think they might have died.
They died, okay. And then is this fencing still there?
I don't believe that's there anymore either.
Okay, and so this is, you're going to remove one of the spaces here, was it?
Correct, yeah.
This is the platform you're talking about
Correct,
in here.
that's right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think we have to check that. Okay, so then in terms of so you're going to go from that rounded look, that, to that.
Correct.
So you're going to remove that parapet and then,
We actually really can't. There's some structural integrity to it, so we actually probably have to frame around it, which is dictating why we have to make it look like that.
and is this going to be drive-it, or what's the material? Stucco, painting over?
It's currently stucco, I believe we're painting over.
Okay, and then up here, you're just going to then make it the same material as this one?
Exactly correct, yep.
And then any window replacements, or they're exactly as is?
And the windows are staying. I think we're just going to paint the trim, as noted.
And then down here, what was going on down there?
There's just a few small areas for plantings there, which, I've shown some new plantings to be placed there that are similar to what we're proposing throughout the other part of the site.
The only thing I will say is, these are gone now, because those are in the right-of-way?
That's correct.
Okay. I mean, in theory, this could be brought out, but ultimately, these are in the right-of-way.
Correct. We only have about 19 feet from the building, I think, to that curbing there in the right-of-way. So there's really, I wouldn't extend anything from that sidewalk out towards the DOT right-of-way. There's just enough room at this point if two cars have to pass by each other.
Now, this particular, let's go do this. Only, so is the entire facade being painted then, all of this?
That's correct.
And then the trim here will be,
What's noted on the plan, that, like it's a certain gray. I forget exactly what the notation is. But if you look at the text on the left-hand side of the front side of the building, you'll see what it's noted as. It's essentially a darker gray. You're looking at a light gray facade with dark gray trim.
okay. I think we just need to note whatever this, because right now that's red.
Oh, that might be
Yeah,
just a
this looks
leftover,
like,
yeah.
this looks like it's white on the sheet, so. I would only say that white gets dirty, and while the building itself, you know, the upper part of the building isn't a concern, I'm just wondering about some of the bottom part of the building, whether that should be a gray or some other color. Something to think about, you know, in terms of maintenance, because that's very white. Is there a sign or anything going to happen up in this parapet area?
That's what you're looking at right there.
It's going to be called White Glove?
White glove.
Okay. And that's the actual size of the sign?
That's what I'm understanding, yes.
Okay. And then any kind of gooseneck lights, or what kind of illumination?
I think whatever's existing is what we're going to continue to use. I actually did. I don't know if you can see it clear. Oh, whoever did it dimensioned it.
It looks on
Maybe
the
just
small
add the,
side.
Add the sign calculation per the
I mean,
code.
it's 16 inches by 72 inches, so it's a foot and a half by 6 feet.
Add a sign calculation for the area under the code, just to show that it's in compliance.
I didn't hear that whole part. Can you repeat that?
The sign requirements under the code, if you could do that calculation to show that it complies with the
Yep.
maximum.
And again, in looking at this, I would consider whether maybe you do a darker trim over here. So when we did, what was the medical place? Over on 208. They had kind of nice trim that they put at the base of the ramp to go up.
Rock facade,
What was it?
like a stone veneer.
Yeah.
We can look to paint the bottom 3 feet of this the same color as the trim. It might frame out the building better.
Are these going to be new rails or just painted?
I would presume they're going to be painted.
Okay. Because this looks kind of modern, and on the image,
I mean, yeah,
these are that old scrolly.
right.
So if you could confirm,
Yep.
if they're planning on new railings. Because if they are doing new railings, I would do like a nice metal black, like a gunmetal maybe, to contrast, because that's a lot of white. And that sign looks very small. So, yeah, I would see if he scaled it properly.
Yep, we'll check that.
You're not going to be able to see it as you're going by. All right. Ashley, do you have, that was it, Sean? Yes. Okay. Ashley, do you have comments?
So I think last time we talked about updating the application forms to add both parcels, and then also the owners and LLC, so everything needs to be signed and clearly signed by someone that's representing the LLC. And I could email you these comments as well, Mike.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I know you said you're using the existing lighting on the site. Could you show where the lights are that are existing?
We'll try.
And then as far as the architectural review goes, so they did submit the renderings and some information about the colors. So the code does require, unless waived, a full narrative description of the materials, samples, colors, including roof, siding, window, et cetera. So just if you could, clarify what everything is going to be, everything that's going to be replaced or painted, just call that out in a little narrative with the proposed materials and colors. And that was it.
All right. I'll start to my left. Lou, do you have any comments?
Oh, no comment.
Jeff?
No comments.
So existing site lighting will be utilized. It looks like there isn't much.
I think they have some sconces in the front. I think they have some, go back to the street view if you can. Let's take a look at that.
And the reason I'm asking is because I don't want to later on see how people put those big bright wall packs extending out. So now would be kind of the time.
But this facility really won't be open very much, if at all, at night.
You don't think so?
I mean, I don't think hours of operation will extend past 5, 6, 7 o'clock. It's not going to operate as a restaurant like it did before, where it's
Yeah,
open all night.
It's
think-
just in the winter,
Sure,
it's
understood.
4 o'clock, so I'm just,
We can confirm with the applicant that the existing site lighting is sufficient. If they deem that that's the case, we'll leave that note on the plan. If we feel like we have to replace it, we'll take a look at that now.
yeah, I'm more, it's not that about the replacement of what you have. I just don't want to see wall packs
Sure.
pop up on the building later, so I prefer to see the lighting somewhere, bollards, whatever you want. In terms of the hours of operation, is that also on Saturdays and Sundays?
It won't most likely be Saturdays, but Sundays very well it could be.
Okay.
Yes.
And in terms of the landscaping, did you indicate the size of the plantings? Is there,
There's a table down on the bottom, and I think I did. So I gave you the size or,
okay.
yeah.
So I would have Karen take a look at it. It's not extensive, just to make sure that, appropriate for the location, and if there's some place they could pop some additional. And then I like to have notes that say that the landscaping shall be maintained for the life of the use. Again, because they die and they never get replaced, and we just like that to be part of the notes. And so even though it says this existing site lighting will be utilized, in the end, if I don't know if they have fluorescent or if they have LEDs right now. Do you know what they have?
I want to say they're probably more in the 2700K. They're that soft white.
Okay.
We can note soft white or 2700K if
Yeah,
you want
if-
on the notes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would just say 2700, no more than 2700 Kelvin for LEDs. And there's no proposed disturbance to that hillside?
None. It's a lot of rock outcropping back there.
Okay, so we could just add a note, no disturbance proposed beyond existing footprint. And those are my comments. Pat, do you have anything?
I used to go to that place when it was Tony Spark Inn in the 1950s. That was a big hot spot when I was growing up. It's not going to be anymore. That's all I have.
Bob? Okay. So procedurally, he had no comment. Thanks. Where are we procedurally? We don't have to have a public hearing, correct? Okay. Did we waive it yet, or no?
But it's discretionary. They don't-
And did this go off for GML? It was exempt? Okay. So, given the location, I guess it's a question, should we waive the public hearing, or should we hold one? I know there are a couple residences in the back, but it's been commercial. I don't think we're extending or expanding the use to the rear.
It's a less intense use by far, probably.
Any thoughts on the public hearing? Okay, Bob says not necessary. Anybody else
Agree with Bob.
agree?
I concur with Bob as well.
Okay. So we don't have to waive it.
No, it's discretionary to hold.
Okay, so I think we're in agreement. Probably doesn't need a public hearing.
Thank you.
So what I think where we are, we're pretty far along. Maybe consider some of those revisions. We'll send it to Karen, and then perhaps by next month, we could draft a resolution? Yeah? Okay, yeah. So, but let's still send it to Karen if she has any comments. And if you could take a look at the coloring, especially the, the whiteness. You might want to add some gunmetal, let us know about the railing, et
Yeah,
cetera.
we'll look at that.
All right,
Very good.
thank you.
Thank you for your time tonight, everybody.
Oh, and you'll check the sign size.
Correct.
Okay, next item on the agenda is 127 Seven Springs Road. Good evening.
Oh, very close now. Good evening, John Queenan with Lankin Tully, engineers for the applicant. This is, I just wanted to give the board a quick update tonight of where we're at, and just hopefully go over one aspect of it. It's been before the board a few times. It's a 3-lot subdivision with the 2-family overlay zone, and we've kind of been going through a couple iterations of the number of driveway cuts along Seven Springs Road in that area. We initially had 3 individual ones. The board had asked us to look at maybe combining all of them into one. That didn't seem possible based on limitations of the code and how they would be divided up. And then Sean and I have been working on a sketch that had a combined, 2 of the lots would be combined, and then one would have its own driveway. So I just wanted to make sure that that's kind of the direction we want to go in before we finalize everything. Besides that, we've located all the trees that are within the development area, so that'll be on the next iteration. We're finalizing the grading, the SWIP is almost done, and the architecturals are been done. So that'll be the next, basically, submission. So once we can figure out that entrance configuration, then we can basically wrap up for a final product.
Okay, so the only thing I would note is, did we get a sketch of what these 2 driveways would look like?
So we got the sketch, so the southern home would have its own driveway. The rear dwelling and the one that's the northernmost dwelling would share an access. They would split almost right at the right-of-way line for separate driveways to each lot. I did review the plan with Pat Patterson, the highway superintendent. He takes no exception, but asked the applicant to look at drainage to try to pipe in front of that, along the driveway or the roadway frontage.
So my deputy and I do not recall seeing a sketch or getting a sketch.
Directly to Pat?
Yeah,
It was
we
not
haven't seen
included-
anything.
Yeah,
It was
no,
not
I didn't-
included in this submission for this meeting,
This
no.
was like a month prior.
Okay, it's a little hard for us to give a
Understood.
reaction when we haven't seen it,
Yeah,
but,
I mean, I could show you the paper version.
yeah, if you want to just,
Yeah.
we can at least look at it up here.
John, I need you to take the mic up with you, because I'm not going to get any of this. I'm sorry.
Got it. So if you remember, each lot had its own driveway going 1, 2, 3. We tried a layout that had one driveway cut at this location and then split to all 3 lots. There was limitations again to the code, to the width, and then we couldn't fit that all within the right-of-way. We had to extend that in, and then it became like a common driveway scenario, which apparently is not allowed in the code. So we ended up with this scenario, which puts these 2 driveways together at a common cut where the 2 existing driveway openings are now. So right now, there's like a triangular driveway opening, so there's 2 cuts now. So that would be centered between those 2 to service these 2 lots, and then the third one would be south of that.
So remind me, why can't we have one driveway coming in and then driveways coming off of the one driveway?
Street specifications don't allow a driveway on the right-of-way line. They would have to construct the private road. I hate this same thing.
It must be just maybe a little closer. I think it's just, it has to be closer to you. Can it be pulled?
So the street specifications don't allow a shared driveway. It would have to be constructed to a private road specification with a turnaround.
And what happens is we don't have enough room to get in and get all three driveways out of there in this little zone. So like, you'd end up with this, but then there's the third driveway that just makes it,
But we have a
Awkward.
private road spec? And why can't we do private road then?
He could propose a private road, but it would have to be built to spec.
And that would be what?
12 inches of item 4, some layer of asphalt. I think it's about 3 inches of binder, and then he could do like a double surface treatment, like a oil and chip for the surface.
that would be with 24 feet probably wide.
26 foot wide to meet the fire code.
Only up to the point where they're shared, and then beyond that.
With a turnaround.
So in other words, there'd have to be like a bulb here, let's say,
Right,
for argument's
correct.
sake. So this guy would go in that way, this guy would go in this way, that guy would be a regular driveway. And then, as a result, you don't have this, you don't have this driveway, you don't have this driveway, you have this, and then you come with two,
Well, essentially, all you're doing is just taking this and bending it that way. 'Cause they're going to come in and then they're going to come off. They're going to come in, they're going to come off.
right, but they can come off this way, come off this way, you get rid of this, you put a little more in here.
Well, I still have to worry, I mean, you're really going to end up with this because of the parking, so that you're going to do this and then you're going to do that. And then you're going to have a wider road with a bulb that goes in here that's probably going to be,
Can it be a T, or does it have to be a cul-de-sac?
There may be an allowance.
An allowance for a T?
we're not going to fit for the fire though, because the T's going to, it's got to be 70.
120 feet wide, yeah.
Yeah.
So I know what you're trying to achieve. Part of me was also trying to minimize impervious in some way, and
I think this
I don't
strikes
know.
the balance. I mean, we have 2 curb cuts now. We'll maintain the 2 curb cuts. The driveways, they look large, but they're standard residential driveways at this point, 12 foot wide. So the widths together would equal the width of the road. You'd probably end up with more impervious with the bulb by the time we had to get the turnaround in there.
do a rough calculation before you resubmit, just to let us know
Yeah.
what the difference is,
Yeah.
if you did that.
Yeah, because again, I don't see the savings here because we're still doing that. So this length is just going to turn that way. That length's going to turn that way. You save a little, but the bulb is going to eat up the area.
So there's a pond there?
A pond? Oh, we were sketching in stormwater.
Okay, so you need to have stormwater?
Yeah, we're doing a full SWIP. It's required by the state.
Why is that particular house all the way back where it is? Instead of a little
Just
closer up?
Because this is a low point, and so this is, when it rains, this does get
Is there
flow.
drainage there?
Yes.
Okay.
So we wanted to come up and come out of that.
Okay.
And then we also wanted to service the septic with gravity.
Okay. All right.
What's the distance between your proposed 2 curb cut layout here? Do you know?
Yeah. It's about 125, 150 feet.
Thank you.
Show that.
Sure.
Pat and Bob and Lou, did you?
Yes, I did.
So essentially, these 2 would be the common cut at this location, and then he would have its own. And this is centered, these are the 2 driveway cuts now, so it's centered right in the middle.
Okay.
Thank you for allowing me to
Sure.
represent.
All right, so you've talked to Sean about it. Just let us know a little bit about that difference in impervious, and then you'll resubmit for the next meeting. Was there anything else you need to communicate or discuss?
No, I think everything else is fairly straightforward. I have Sean's prior comments. I have Ashley's prior comments. And we'll get all those addressed. The only thing I was wondering if, these mics. Sorry, George. I have all the prior comments, so we'll address all of those in the next submission. I believe we're required to have a public hearing, and before that, the board would probably want to do a negative declaration, I'm assuming, at some point. I don't know if that's something we could start on a draft of, assuming all these come in and still review, but I just don't want to submit it all next month and then say, well, we're authorized, we'll get a draft of the neg deck, and so we just save a little time that way.
I don't have an issue with starting a neg deck. It doesn't commit us to doing it if we find some issue, but, yeah.
Okay.
I haven't been out to the site, so I need to get out there too.
Yeah, I mean,
No, it's
we've,
getting a little nicer out.
we've done the soil testing with Sean's office, so that's pretty well set now. We did have a well test completed, had significant water, about 25 to 30 gallons a minute, so that's more than enough for this development. So in that respect, I'm comfortable with the aspects of that.
Okay. Anybody have any other comments regarding this project? No?
Comment.
All right. All right, thank you.
Great, thank you so much.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right, next item on the agenda is 24 Raywood LLC. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Yitzhak Stein. I'm with Ideal Design. Came to represent my customer, 24 Raywood Drive, for a new proposed two-family dwelling. Said property is located in the new two-family overlay zone, and we came to review the documents from the submission for this application.
I didn't catch your,
My name is Yitzhak Stein. You can call me Isaac if that's easier.
okay?
I'm just trying to get us oriented here. Is it this dwelling over here? Does that look like the dwelling?
I don't think so.
I'm just trying to see the mailbox. You think that's it?
There's a horseshoe.
Yeah, that's what's here. Okay. So let me just bring this down. So this is on Raywood, and really, this whole property is oriented to South Blooming Grove. Right? It's oriented towards South Blooming Grove.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, you're right, okay.
Yeah. All right, so do you want to give us an overview of what you want to do? How
Yes.
how many bedrooms are you proposing?
So there's an existing single family on the property, and they want to replace it with the two-family dwelling. There will be a total of 9 bedrooms.
Oh, sorry?
9 bedrooms.
Okay. Is the road itself is that in, so Raywood is the neighborhood where we did that 3-lot? Yeah. Okay. Up by the multifamily. Did we look at the synagogue up
It's
there
further
too?
at the end of this road.
Okay.
To the right. All the way to the
All
end.
the way at the
Oh, all
end.
the way. Okay.
No.
We were up somewhere here?
Right.
Right
Yeah.
here? Okay. Okay. All right, so why don't we start with Sean's comments?
So there was architectural plans provided with the site plan. I asked that those be prepared by a licensed design professional, signed and sealed. And then after reviewing the floor plans, it looked like I counted 11 bedrooms, whereas 9 are shown on the site plan. And there's a key distinction there, because once you go over 9 bedrooms, you trigger a Speedy's permit C for septic system. So that'll have to be clarified and coordinated. This sewer disposal, the new sewer disposal system testing should be witnessed by a representative of our office. On the site plan, the site district is 20, where the site is only 1.05 acres size.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
So the site disturbance on the site plan is noted as 28 acres, where the site's only 1.05 acres in size
And which documents is that?
on the site plan.
Is it on the site plan or the SEAF?
I believe it's on the, I have it noted on the site plan.
Okay.
Plan.
I guess that's a typo, yes.
With regards to the bulk table, the required dimensions were consistent with the SR10 district. However, there are increased lot area requirements for the two-family overlay, so I asked that those be updated. The applicant should provide testing of the existing well to confirm that it will meet the required flow, and that should be signed and sealed by a design professional. With regards to the driveway, I was confused as to the hatching for the horseshoe driveway and what's actually proposed to remain versus what's to be removed.
So if you look at this image on the map, it says this piece is to be removed. See here where my cursor is? Is this going to be removed too, this piece? Because this is the same, this color is the same as this, almost suggesting that it'll be removed and that everything will be here, but maybe that's not the case.
That's correct, yes.
So you're only going to have that one
Only
area
the
now?
center driveway, correct.
Okay.
Okay. Do you think that's enough for the number of residents that might be there in the two-family?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need
You'll have 4 or 5,
4 parkings.
4 parking spaces?
While you're on that, so the parking is shown, I think one space is partly in the front yard. So that's not
Partially.
permitted under the code.
This one here. One?
Right?
Actually, well, this is a turnaround
It's a
here, right?
turnaround.
So our,
Parking space,
does it not allow it in the required yard or the front, the entire front yard?
the front yard.
Okay. So this will have to be designed in a way to get it, this little piece in here, out of the front yard, which you have as a line here.
Also, if you could add the dimension, the width of the driveway, the two-family special use permit restricts the width. It can't be it can't be more than 24 feet at any point in the front yard.
What's the scale on this drawing?
I think the site plan has some details for the parking on one of the pages.
You're saying the width of the driveway can't be more than 20?
More than 24 in the front yard.
Oh, 24. That's pretty wide. Why are there... Sorry, it was an ant. I got home and there were ants in my house. And I guess I brought a couple with me. Sorry, I was going to just use my measure tool here. Measure. Where is that measured? At the setback? I mean, at the property line?
Required front yard.
I think
Here?
they have a setback line shown on the, at any point with,
Point.
not the
So
required yard.
this piece, that's not right. Measuring. Twenty feet. That's 26.95 right in there. So it needs to be 24. So just a little less wide.
At the turnaround.
The turnaround?
If you drew a width there, you would definitely be way.
Okay. Now, is it 24
24.
here or is it 24 here?
Actually within the front yard.
In the front yard? Because this here is the property line. So that's why this is actually in the street right-of-way. So I didn't know if it mattered in the street right-of-way or not,
I think just property front
in here,
yard then.
and then back in here. So this piece, if I go from here to here, is 26 also. So,
Around two, I don't know. Parking space are, where the width would be for that as well, since that's the,
can you push the house back a little bit more? Can they push it back? I know you're really up against your setbacks, but, oh, well, because you're trying to serve both houses with this one area. So I understand why you have it here, but it's like, it's tighter here, for instance, than it would be over here. But that's in part because this is going from property line to property line.
Yeah, we can go over this, the options, basically, to make sure that the parking is within the buildable space.
Okay. Right. I went on a tangent there. Let's go back to Sean's comments.
So the modifications right-of-way should be accepted by the highway superintendent. If you wanted to resubmit, and then we can, coordinate getting that to him.
What are you talking about now?
The highway superintendent reviews curb cuts, new driveways.
New curb cuts, got
Yeah,
it. So we need to get a approval from the highway superintendent?
So he normally goes out and looks at, he might say, put a culvert pipe in, so he just needs to see, to make sure it's in a good location, from a site distance perspective, too.
All right.
And then similarly, the proposed curb modifications, you should provide details on how you're going to construct those curb cuts, as well as you're going to be closing off a portion of curb. So you should provide details on how to construct that. The applicant did provide a tree plan with a chart to show the trees that are on the lot. It would be helpful if he could note what trees will be cleared and which ones will remain within the chart.
So the engineer basically did a different color for the remaining trees, and is that acceptable, or it should
On
be
the plan, I'm talking within the chart. If you could just note which ones will be removed or which ones will remain.
Art, on the plan set? Well, I'm not finding it.
Since it's like only a couple of them to be removed.
I'm sorry, my comment does say, please provide a chart for the trees listed. I looked at another one today that had a chart. If you could just provide a chart that shows which ones will remain versus which ones will be taken down.
Yeah, so we need to count how many, so I imagine if you put X's, here, 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 whatever's being removed, within a certain diameter, right? Over 6 inches.
I think there were 6 being removed, and I think 1 or 2 proposed to be removed are labeled as dead. So assuming it's 6, you would need to show that you're then planting 6 trees in replacement of those being removed, or I don't know if you were proposing any.
Okay, yeah, I'll discuss with the customer about that.
13 is just a comment about the wells and septics within 200 feet of the lot, which is a design consideration for the septic system. And then if you could provide architectural renderings for the elevations of the house with colors, and each of the materials and colors labeled for the board's review. And we should discuss seeker with that.
Okay, Ashley, comments?
It would be a type 2 action under seeker for construction of a 2-family home. It is also exempt from referral to the county under the agreement with Orange County Planning Department. It does require a public hearing for the special use permit, and a public hearing notice will also need to go to the Town of Palm Tree and/or Village of Curious Joel, because you're within 5 that bound. As far as the application work, the general municipal law, section 809 disclosure form needs to be corrected to identify your approvals that are being sought. You had checked approval of the plat, but it's site plan and special permit. The entity disclosure form was not complete, so section B needs to be filled out on that. We talked about the parking in the front yard. The bulk table indicates the minimum required lot area is 10,000 square feet. Assuming you're going under that law that allows you to apply the reduced bulk, even though you don't have public sewer, because you're in a public sewer district and you meet other requirements, the minimum lot area would actually be 20,000 square feet, so you comply, but just update the bulk table. The board has architectural review, so you'll have to submit all those architectural details in accordance with section 5731D,
Right, so we have to see elevations of the building, the facade,
the materials
all
and
the
color.
materials, et cetera.
EAF did indicate that there were wetlands either on the site or adjacent, so I don't know whether, I didn't see it shown on the plans, if you know where those are located.
Are there wetlands, or is it adjoining the site?
It might be adjoining. It was flagged on the mapper, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, because the mapper sometimes does it within a buffer area.
Yeah, there is no wetlands over here.
So no well septic in this area. What are going to be the utilities here?
Well and septic.
It will be well and septic, okay. So is there a line to connect to Curious Joel's facilities, or no?
Water and sewer.
Yeah. Because didn't Raywood connect to them, or no?
They're immediately to the village.
Okay.
I don't believe it.
So we had another house up on Raywood that did connect, but I wasn't sure if you were close to it so that you could connect if you wanted.
Yeah, I don't think it's an option.
Okay.
Another thing, the EAF mapper also noted that the property was in the 100-year floodplain. So in order to that reduced bulk requirements under the sewer law, you're in a public sewer district? Are you in the public sewer district?
Yes.
Okay, so you also need a certification regarding the wastewater disposal system and saying that it's not going to be presenting any issue to existing public and private wells. So the relevant code section, and I'll email Noreen these specifics to send you, that way you have it all, but the code spells out what you need in terms of a engineering certification, and that needs to be verified by the town's engineer. That same requirement is for the special use permit standards for the two-family. And standard tree plan notes that I'll provide as well for you to put on the plans.
So I think there is I don't know that it's on this property, but if you look here, this is Google Maps. It's showing a stream here. But what this isn't showing, because oftentimes they put what appears to be the lot lines, this is Orange County GIS, and there's this. I think that is carrying a drainage area. It almost looks like that's what that is.
Yeah, there is some drainage area on the next lot.
And you can see right here. So I think that's what this is. Who owns this?
You can see it on the site plan. It's in the next lot.
So this is the town of Monroe. It makes sense because the subdivision.
it?
So this one here, this is owned by the town of Monroe. So I'm guessing this,
Next one down.
oh, sorry, this one.
That one is the.
Is it the village? That's interesting. Interesting. So it was probably part of, because that was all, I'm sure, intended to be drainage easements and drainage right-of-ways, but someone sold it off. What is this, does that, oh, so it's Village of KJ. All right. And then it goes into KJ. Okay. So I think that the point was, in terms of wetlands or streams, it's probably that adjoining stream system. Ashley, you had more?
I would like to clarify, if possible. Can I
Sure.
ask a question? So one of the comments was that there is 11 bedrooms. I would like to check what is on the plans, which one did he consider as a bedroom? Should I?
So to put it in simple terms, we got to determine building inspector on another application with regards to what a bedroom is. It's a room that has both a door and a closet.
If it has a door and a closet in it, it can be a bedroom.
So if I'm looking at the first sheet,
Want me to pull up one of the houses?
A1,
A1, is that the one to this one?
I think it is. Playroom on the bottom left corner. Or closet, actually closets.
Wait, are there 2 levels here? That's the downstairs. That has a playroom. Was that what you were talking about?
That's also a bedroom, correct?
That doesn't have a door.
This has a closet.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so you're saying this
it's
doesn't
open
have a
to
door?
above, right.
What is happening, is the ceiling level here, is this just a crawl space, or is this a full?
No, that's an unfinished basement, but they're doing a half a level, like a split level style for the playroom to be more attached to the upper level.
So, can this be finished in the future? In other words, is there enough ceiling height that it would meet code that you could finish it off?
I think it's a high ceiling, yes, regular, yeah.
You have the ability to exit?
Yes, there are exits out there, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, with the exits.
So what do we envision that space would be in the future?
Oh, I don't know, we didn't discuss that.
The only reason I'm asking is from the sewer and the water capacity perspective, if you're going to have enough, since you're on septic and well.
Yeah, for now they want to use it as storage, I mean,
For storage?
yeah, just, they don't want to have the house sitting on the street, grade level, they want to do a basement.
I guess we'll see it a little better when you submit the elevations. It'll be easier to see.
Sure. So I did count that downstairs bedroom. You know, I guess you're representing there is no door on that, so technically it wouldn't be a bedroom. But on this floor plan, bottom left, right there,
Playroom?
that playroom has a door and closets, so that should be counted as a bedroom.
It also has a kitchen?
That's the Passover kitchen.
Okay. So you have a pantry here, you have a playroom here, and this is the Passover kitchen?
Yeah, that's correct.
And is this the front or this is the back?
Yeah,
Oops,
that's the front. Yeah.
okay. And there's no upper level?
No. It's a ranch style house.
Come in, the study does not have closets. You have this bedroom with the closet, this bedroom with a closet. This is your, like a washer dryer area,
Yeah, washroom, laundry room.
laundry room. Your bathroom, master bedroom, bedroom. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Question about this potentially being a 5th, right? It's the playroom you were questioning. And then on this side, you come in. This study does not have, I don't think. So what, okay, you come in. Trying to figure this out.
That's the foyer.
Okay, the foyer, and then these are kind of swinging out. These are doors, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so the door goes into the study,
Goes into the study.
and this goes into the study.
Right.
And then is this like a sliding door?
Yeah, that's a pocket door.
A pocket door, and then you come in, you have your dining room, and then you have your kitchen, and then this is the Passover kitchen again?
Yeah, the butler's pantry and the kitchen, yes.
Okay, and then you come,
It's
here's
the
your
living room.
living room, master, bedroom, 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 laundry room. Okay. So those appear to be in order from what I can tell? So you're just also questioning the downstairs space? But I have a bigger picture about the downstairs space because it's unfinished from a water and a sewer perspective. But again, I think when you submit your elevations, it'll help understand the building. With that, anybody have comments? Lou?
No, I'm sorry, I wasn't clear. Is it 9 bedrooms or 11 bedrooms?
So it's 9 bedrooms, but we found a playroom that had a door, so we'll take off the door. I mean, so it's 9 bedrooms in total.
Or the other alternative is, right, because the one playroom is next to the kitchen, particularly on the one side, so you might want a door, you could always remove the closets.
Yeah.
Since you have all that unfinished space in
Yeah,
the
I'll discuss-
basement, you have
We'll
two
discuss
options
with the customer,
there.
well, yeah,
Right.
maybe they want to do like
I
furniture.
guess it depends on what the priority is. I know you still have to complete the entity disclosure form. Is Yiddy Levi the only member of the LLC, or are there other members?
No, it's my mistake. I thought that that's the members that have jobs in town of Monroe. There was no members with jobs in town of Monroe, so I just left it out.
Oh,
But
I
I'll need to
understand what you-
disclose over there all the members, no problem, yes. I will do that.
I guess what I'm wondering is this planned to be, is this just being developed and then either for rental or sale? Or, I was wondering if it was a sole member, if they were planning on actually occupying one of the two
Yeah, it's
residences.
a primary residence, yes.
Oh, it will be, okay. Yeah, that was one other question. And for my education, so looking at the unit that we're looking at here, in the living room area, there's the 3 dotted line rectangles. I'm assuming that represents where skylights would be?
Yeah, operatable skylights, yes.
We're seeing that in more and more proposed homes. Are those fixed skylights, or do they actually open up?
They open up, yeah, they open up fully.
So does that also serve the family as an area for celebrating Sukkot?
That's for sukkahs, yes.
Okay.
That's correct, yes.
We're seeing it more and more, so I figured, let me ask that question, then I'll understand better. All right, because sometimes we see it in a living room or a family room, and sometimes we're seeing it in like an enclosed porch, so.
Whatever everybody prefers it, in a different location.
Right, and that's why I was wondering if they opened or if they were fixed. Okay, thank you very much.
I had my questions. Pat, you have any questions?
I don't.
Comments, Bob?
I have none.
Okay. So next steps, should we wait to get another submission before we hold the public hearing?
So because we need septic confirmed.
Okay. So we'll get your revised plans, whatever revisions you're going to make as per the comments. We do have to hold a public hearing, so hopefully at the next meeting we can schedule a public hearing. You don't have to go through the environmental review process, so that's done. And you don't have to get referred to the county, so that saves time too. You don't have to do that. So really, just get your plans in, we'll take a look at it one more time, and then hopefully we can schedule a public hearing.
All right, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What is the issue with the sewer that you want to update?
So our office has to witness the sewer testing for the
yeah,
septic?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll schedule the sewer testing.
Yeah, okay.
That's the soil testing for the sewer. Yeah. Okay, we need to schedule that. And what about the lot size you mentioned before? Is that an issue, or that's basic? It's okay.
You should just note it in the bulk table. The two-family overlay has higher restrictions than the SR10 district, the underlaying district.
Double the lot size is for a two-family.
Oh,
I think your
yeah.
bulk table shows it as 10,000, but the
needs to be
requirement's 20.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But you have more than enough area, so.
Yeah.
Is it already in the code, you think? The local law?
Which the new law,
Yeah.
that one's in, but the two-family is 5713U.
Is that what you're referring to when you're talking about the new law?
Yes, it's one
A
of the,
combination of both, because 5713 is where it says you have to double the minimum lot area, but the minimum lot area is 10,000 because
Oh,
of
that is the
under
new.
other law.
So it looks like this is the local law of 2023? But didn't they just pass
Oh, the
another
one that
law?
was just
Yeah.
passed was
Literally, like,
20.
57, yeah, 21-1, and
so I think I have that. So this one? Okay.
that was going to be my other question is, do any of those recent changes in the law have an effect on this application?
Was that determination applies when you meet all those criteria, so this now, I'm not sure.
So in this instance, though, this lot isn't in an area with central sewer, right?
in the district, but there's improvements in front.
So what standards apply? So on the one hand, it might be in a public sewer district, on the other hand, it's still utilizing septic.
Readily available for the,
As when you're in a public sewer district, you don't have that sewer, don't presently exist, and you go under to subsection B there, where it says demonstrate that the lots in the, so it's, yeah, it's subsection B.
Okay. Okay. And then the other standards are just these standards in here.
special use permit.
And that's where the driveway is discussed right here, the standard. I wonder if it would have been better to, can you keep the circular or you can't because the house gets in the way? I'm almost wondering if it could have continued and brought, would there have been, not really? Okay,
Parking spots wouldn't be at,
okay, because there's a setback here? Okay. All right. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, one more question, Sean. You mentioned that the disclosure, the 809 form, should be updated with one of the,
Yes, if you could,
or
so you
actually-
checked off the box for approval of a plat, but it
Correct.
should be checking off that it's the box for other, including site plan and special permit.
got it. All right, thank you.
And I'm going to email Noreen my comments, that way she could share them with you.
Oh, that's great, thank you.
How tall is this unit going to be?
Building height? According to this, it says 2.5. It says it'll be under 35 feet, but we don't know because we don't have the elevations.
Yeah, it's going to be like, let's say the first floor like 10 feet, and the basement's going to be exposed like a couple of feet, like 5 feet. So that's it. And then the roof. I mean, yeah,
But we'll, like I said, we'll see it when we get the plan, so.
That's correct,
We'll
yes.
be able to better understand it. Okay. Anything else? Thank you.
all right. Thank you very much, everybody.
We'll see you, hopefully next meeting if you submit.
All right.
Thanks.
Good night.
Good night. Right. So, that's it. Anything we need to talk about before we release Ashley and Sean for their birthdays? Nope. Okay.
This question is for Ashley. During the last session that we had someone present to us a property, and I mentioned that I felt they were too close to the wetlands, and those are federally regulated.
I think that was Meadow Hill, right?
Which one?
That was a Meadow Hill development on lakes that you were talking about.
Yes, correct. And those wetlands were federally protected or regulated? I thought there was some kind of a distance you had to have before you built.
Under our wetland law.
Town's wetland law and the
Under the
state.
federal, because those are federally regulated.
Federal don't have any setbacks.
No buffers on
The town. and
No.
DEC
Federal
has.
doesn't?
No, and state has 100 feet, New York State. Their regulations are changing. So come 2025 and 2026, there are going to be certain wetlands that aren't regulated by the state that will be regulated by the state. And that's in part because of all the changes and decisions to what's regulated at the federal level. So for instance, vernal pools used to come under the jurisdiction of Army Corps of Engineers federally. Now they don't because they're isolated wetlands. So the state's now going to regulate them. So there's this kind of this transition in how wetlands are going to be regulated. But never mind, we have our own. I believe our own are 50 feet buffer or 100?
100 buffer.
100 foot? So
You do have some,
Because I believe that property was, 31 feet to the wetland?
and so we would have to issue a permit to allow it to happen. And so that's a vote, and, we have to make sure any of the impacts are mitigated if we allow it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting because right now, the wetlands that are regulated by DEC are shown on maps, and going forward, they will not be on maps. So it's going to rely on us to police this and to say that they're state regulated. And it's going to be particularly, in my opinion, and we need guidance on how we're going to regulate a vernal pool. Vernal pools are not wet all year round. So how do you know if there's sometimes a vernal pool there? I guess there would be indicators. But then never mind that it's a vernal pool, you have to find that there's a certain number of eggs and amphibian species there. Who's going to be checking that at the right time of the season?
Aren't they also reducing the size of the wetland before it wasn't it, right, it's going from 12 something to 7 something?
I think it's going to 7.5.
Half the size.
I think it's 7.5, I want to say. Right now, it's 12.4. Yep, so I think it goes to 7.5. And that, though, I believe is going into effect in 2026. So in 2025, my recollection is what is going into effect are going to be what they call these wetlands of unusual importance, right? AKA vernal pools, et cetera, the small ones. And then come 2026, that's when it goes from 12.4 to 7.5. But again,
And they're eliminating the maps, which is really,
and no maps. So, I mean, there's a benefit, and I mean, there's, the one benefit is we would, for instance, in reviewing applications, come across a forested wetland, and it would be 12.4 acres, and it wouldn't be on a map. And so it became this sometimes a battle of DEC could start a process right there of actually mapping it officially, unless the applicant went along and said, okay, I'll stay away from it. So it was just, now it's if you have, now, if you have 7.5 acres or more, it will be a DEC wetland. But now it's on us to ensure that the applicants are actually mapping the wetlands. And so it'll be important for us to have a good ecologist and group who will be able to verify these wetlands. And I think we still have to see the rules and regulations that come out for all of this. So, okay. All right, so we're gonna do minutes if you wanna head out and enjoy your birthday.
Happy birthday.
Birthday.
All right, so September, God only knows where these minutes are. I had put the ones that I had revised, which September is it?
September 14th.
Okay, so that's this one.
So Dylan and Jeff were out.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. I forgot I muted it.
we have 4 here that could
Yeah,
approve
There's
these.
still 4.
All right, so I had updated this, and this had to do with Superior Packaging over by Harriman. And what else was on the agenda? Barrett, which was the ADU, accessory dwelling unit? Yes. Right, over by Cooper. And Gold Star on 208 Monroe. That was with the EV chargers.
Yes. Over by Joel Stoitzel's building.
Correct. And that's it. So I'll make a motion that we approve the September 14th, 2023 minutes as amended. May I have a second?
Second.
Noreen?
Rivera,
Aye.
Jeff Manson.
I'm
Oops,
sorry.
sorry.
Abstain.
Bonnie Franson,
Aye.
Pat Shea,
Aye.
and Robert Garsak.
Aye.
Now, the next one is October 17th.
What's the date?
October 17th. That's November.
Day were they sent?
Definitely got them. I think. Okay. Not finding that one, let's table it for now.
Okay, the next November 9th is tabled. We don't have enough members.
Okay,
November 21st is tabled. We don't have enough members.
okay.
And December 19th is tabled. We don't have enough members. I didn't get into January.
January 16th, February 8th.
January 16th, if Oh, I wrote the 19th. Anyway, I'll fix that on the agenda. January, we do have the availability of enough members, if everybody has read them.
Let's table that one to the next meeting.
Make a suggestion, I don't know if this is possible, but if there were a kind of a repository in the server that we could go into and just download these minutes, just in case we missed them, might be better than you mailing them out, or at least it'll give us another alternative if we
I'll
miss.
have access to board docs if you still know all your information.
Or
So-
docs.
Yeah,
Which was the one that you mentioned? The January you said?
January 16th,
Okay, I do have it here.
and then February 8th, we do have 4 members here, it's been right up and on.
Okay. Started saving it in a new place.
Okay, so what I can do is tomorrow, send everybody all of the ones that we've tabled tonight. I will resend them out.
Okay.
So that you can look at them before Tuesday.
But January 16th we can do. You said?
No, we tabled that one. February 8th, we can do.
So I have the January 16th, so let's,
But did everybody read them if they didn't get them?
oh, I don't know. So let me go through what it was. So we appointed acting chair, we appointed our planning board attorney, appointed the planning board engineer. There was a discussion about Pilati Village, and in particular, the wetland buffer. And we closed the public hearing, and we approved the local wetlands disturbance permit. And then we had 127 Springs Road. And it was Masterclass Motors. That was the individual who had the building up on 17M, the gun location. In the back. And then we were doing minutes. So that was it. Do people feel comfortable approving this, or do they want to wait?
Can't vote as Lou. Well, Lou is in the audience, so technically he can vote, so then you'd have 5. That's up to you.
Yeah, I'll leave it up to you, Lou, if you want to vote. So if everybody's okay, then I'll make a motion that we approve the January 16th, 2024 minutes.
I'll second that.
Noreen?
Rivera,
Aye.
Jeff Manson,
Aye.
Bonnie Franson,
Aye.
Pat Shea,
Aye.
Bob Garstack.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll send that one off. What is the next one?
I did find the minutes, actually,
Oh, good.
on the board docs.
January 16th, right?
Correct. Yes. So I have 2/8.
Yep, the other one is February 8th.
Okay, so February 8th.
We're okay, we have enough members for that.
Okay. And I think this is the one I sent to everybody. Yeah, I sent this to everybody with my markups.
Yeah.
So we have me, Jeff, Lou, and Bob. Pat, you were out, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have enough. So this was 94-7 Springs. This was a 2-family, I think. And this, we got into whether or not there were additional bedrooms. And if so, it wasn't that they couldn't have them, but they might need a speedies permit. And I'm going to hold a public hearing March 19th. And then this is the Meadow Hill discussion where we got into the wetlands. So they were in front of us. And new project, 355 Route 17M. So this was the first presentation of Mr. Morgante and the proposal to change that to medical offices. So that's on here. And then we were covering minutes. So is everybody okay to, they feel comfortable to make a decision on this one? Okay. So I'll make a motion that we approve the February 8, 2024 minutes. May I have a second?
Second.
Noreen?
Bob Garstack,
Aye.
Pat Shea,
I wasn't.
abstain.
Abstain.
Thank you. Bonnie Franson,
Aye.
Jeff Manson,
Aye.
Lou Rivera.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just a question. For the minutes starting this year, now that we're a 5-person board, don't we just need 3 people for a quorum? So, right, slightly easier to approve minutes potentially based on current attendance.
I'm sorry. I mean, there's some we could now approve because we're only 3?
I'm wondering.
So that would only be for this year, though,
Yeah.
right?
We were 7 at the time.
Yeah. So anything from January on?
Anything January forward.
Yeah. So I have 2/8, and we only had 1 February meeting? Okay. All right. So how many did we didn't table that many.
Tabled 4 were approved.
Okay. And that was, we had lacked a quorum
enough
for those?
people.
Okay. So you'll, okay.
I'll resend them in an email tomorrow to everybody.
So on the agenda, are you going to update
Yep,
next
I'll
month's
update
agenda?
the 19th agenda.
Okay. And then minutes for this meeting in a week, please.
I will do the best.
Well, it has to be filed in 14 or 15 business days, but I need time to be able to review it, that's why. Okay, with that, I'll make a motion that we adjourn this meeting. May I have a second?
Second.
That was real quick. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any denials? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.